y'all, I'm back. We spoke yesterday about Becca, and today we're going to talk about My Father's World, which was another kit that we purchased, and it's a little bit bigger than the kit that I had with Becca. It's more of a Charlotte Mason approach, unit study, so there's a little bit more involved with this kit. So I'm going to try to wrap it up quicker, like I did yesterday's video, but might go a little bit longer just because there's a little bit more stuff that comes with this kit. Again, this is one that we already went through, so some of the stuff is used, and some of it, we didn't completely because just it's a lot with this kit. Another reason why we have gone away from kits in our family. So, this is an amazing program. It is, let me grab this right here. This is your teacher manual for My Father's World. It is learning God's story. It is for first grade level. The My Father's World programs are designed to teach multiple children. So you could teach around this age group. And they are geared to teach multiple children at once if need be. I took my books, and you can see this one's fallen off, but the spirals will have problems with the spirals falling off, and I've glued a little bead on the top and bottom to stop that problem. There's little tips if you join the Facebook group of different things people do with their kids. Anywho, if you get My Father's World, this is more of a combination of Charlotte Mason ideas, classical education, unit studies, and it's a biblical worldview. So if you are interested in that kind of curriculum, this might be for you. That is actually a lot of what we are interested in our household, which is why I went away from what we discussed yesterday, Becca, and went more towards My Father's World. Again, though, we loved this curriculum. It's a great program, but we got stuck again on the problem of it being a kit, and I found it a struggle that when my son was faster paced in one subject, it was hard for me to move forward with him in that subject, and feeling stuck on lesson plans because he was ready to move forward in math and then not so much in phonics because he's strong in areas and weak in areas. So when I buy kits, I kind of feel like they're strong for my child in areas and weak for my child in other areas. And some parents have no trouble moving forward. Maybe it's that I'm like ADHD. I don't know. But I struggle being able to move forward in some subjects and leave subjects behind. So it messes with my brain. So that is why I'm not a big kit fan. But if you are looking for a kit to buy, this is an amazing program. So I'm going to go ahead and show you it. Again, I do not work for My Father's World. This is a personal review and just to show you it in case it's one that you're looking into. It is Christian-based, so if you are not looking to get a Christian-based program, I would recommend you not to do this one. And if you are wanting a Christian-based program, I would suggest you watch my video yesterday. If you want a Christian-based program that doesn't have too much in there and that you can kind of slide it away if you don't want much of it, that was about Becca, because that one is Christian-based. It's just not as intertwined as this one. My Father's World has God and the Bible throughout it. It's very hard to take the biblical side out of this curriculum. It's intertwined in every aspect of it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and let you guys see what it's about. So if you buy this curriculum, one of the things you get is a teacher manual, and it is nice and bright. Okay, and for the first grade, it's called Learning God's Story. Okay, it's the front and the back. Alright, and it starts out with a lesson plan overview. Right, it has all your weeks, and then their Bible and their history is one curriculum together. So as you see, it has Bible and history here. Okay. And then it's got their reading next to it, which is their phonics program as well. And then it's got their math here. Now, math is something that they include, but not past first grade. So if you're looking for a reading or a program that includes everything, in My Father's World, it's a great kit program, but after first grade, you have to get your own phonics and your own math program. So keep that in mind because it can get very pricey after that point. So you have your math, and then it does include science as well. Their science is also geared around the Christianity biblical side. Okay, and then when you flip, it's telling you what is required for your resources with this program. A lot of those required things it comes with if you buy the kit, okay? And then it tells you some, like a welcome. They welcome you to it, tell you about the program. It tells you about each subject. Tells you how to prepare for it, like what extra kinds of things you could get, like pencils, index cards, clay, globes, and we just did like a blow up globe because it was pretty cheap and it was fun to kind of toss around. Okay, this is what I'm just going to flip to the very first week to give you an example of what a lesson plan week looks like in My Father's World. Okay, this is the breakdown of a lesson plan. It is so simple to use. I like that it has the box to check, so I know what I have finished that week. I love it. But again, if I'm on week 4 of math and I'm still stuck on week 1, it's kind of hard to flip back and forth for me. But if I'm within that same week, it's very easy to keep track of because you have these little boxes that you can check with pencils. And then if you have multiple children, you can just go back and erase them all. And you can use the same book and all the supplies with multiple children and just buy your workbooks and supplies, worksheets for your next child. So it gives you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday is more of like an exploring day with them. So you're really only working Monday through Thursday. And then it has all your subjects down here with what they're doing each day. Okay. So for example, on Monday for Bible, it was what is history, and it's given a biblical study of what history was. Your reading language, it'll give you workbook pages, student sheets, and then there was some reading to do, there's math to do, there's science, and you get science books, and then you have a read aloud. Friday is exploring day, so they give you like little science things to do outside and some science activities to do in your science books, which I will go over with you in a little bit. And then it also gives you a breakdown. So it's not just giving you an assignment. It gives you a breakdown on how to teach everything. Okay? So it'll tell you the day. So like first it has Monday, and it's up here. So anything that was under Monday, it has the subject. So what was history? And then it tells you how to teach that. Okay? And then it tells you how to do like the workbook assignment. Okay? And then it shows you like all your phonics. So it's very, very broke down. There was a scroll in here that we talked about for the what was history. Very thorough. And it has it all broke down. Like now you're on Tuesday, and it gives all your assignments all the way to Wednesday, and it breaks it down exactly how you're to teach it word for word. So there's no question. And if you ever struggle, there's a Facebook group that you can go in and you can ask other moms, like, what did you do for this? Or how did you handle this? I had a question about this. And the moms on there are really, really gracious and helpful and giving tips on how they handled that particular thing. And you can also call the publishers at My Father's World, and they are super, super sweet in helping you if you have any questions. But this is week 2. So it's really, really detailed in helping you plan out. I really, really like this. Okay? This is your Learning God's Story Complete First Grade Curriculum Workbook. This is your phonics. So my son is completed with his, so it is a completed book. Get a little bit, this is your handwriting too, so my daughter got a hold of a few of his pages and colored on them. So I liked this because my son he's like very, very hyperactive. And the worksheets were simple enough to where he was grasping the materials, but he wasn't overwhelmed with it. So like it would have the top part up here to do this writing part, and then down here it would give him like what we talked about. We would teach it, and then he would fill out the bottom half. So there's like little reviews throughout as well. Okay. And there's some days where it's a little bit more. And the red pen on there is not me marking things wrong. They have the child get like a red pencil, but he liked a red marker. So that was Carson highlighting what he was learning of short vowels, long vowels, silent vowels. Like that was all his markings, not Mom's. Okay, and he was learning to write it all out. I would call out the words and he would write them down. This was all Carson's learning. All right. We would have to draw pictures to what he was reading. Very, very thorough. There's some more handwriting sheets in here that we got out of another book. Okay. In your curriculum, so this was something that somebody recommended to me to buy to go with this. It was not in my kit. It was not something that I think at the time it was recommended by My Father's World. So because My Father's World recommended it and somebody else did when I purchased this, I got this in 2018 to 2019 for first grade. So I do not believe this is a recommended book anymore. But it was for, the parents and the teachers. It wasn't something for the children, but it was a book then. So if you are interested in it, it's not something that I felt to be super helpful, but I wanted to put it on here just in case. Because the other parents, it was helpful. Okay. This is a part of the devotional side of the curriculum. They recommend to include dad or mom in this portion. So if mom is the homeschooling teacher of this program and dad is working during the day, then they recommend to do this part with dad. If dad is the homeschooling teacher and mom's working during the day, or both parents work and you guys school at night, however it may be, they recommend to do this with both teachers. We did this part at nighttime so that we could do it with dad, and we still use this book today because it's a beautiful book and my children love it. It is my big book of 5-minute devotions. It's very colorful. It is quick devotions, and the children really, really, really gain a lot out of it. So I'll go ahead and flip through so you can see some of the beautiful artwork in there. So it'll give you a nice little quick devotion, and then it asks the kids some questions with some pictures. So what I like to do is I'll read this, and then I ask the kids, and to have multiple, I have 2 children, then I'll take turns with my kids, and you can, if you have more than 2 children, you can let them raise their hand and take turns, or there's always about 4 or 5 questions on there. So typically most households have about homeschooling families I've met some that have 5, so you could go in rotation, or you can let you can pick numbers out of buckets, different things you can do to answer the questions. And then it has a Bible verse right here to go with the story that it said hand in hand. But there's such beautiful little pictures in here, and it helps you relate with real life, which would go with your Charlotte Mason approach. They're taking real life and putting God into that. You take real life and learning with that. So this was something that we still use today, and I would highly recommend it even if you're not choosing to homeschool long term. this is something that they still offer with their curriculum. It is Honey for a Child's Heart. This is for the mother or the father schooling the children, or both even. And it is just to help you find good read alouds for your children that inspire them to be lifelong readers. And it is just an encouraging book for you to read. And it does come with a deluxe kit if you purchase it. But I still highly recommend you to purchase this book if you don't get the kit. It is a great read, and I love it. It gives books for ages 0 to 14 in here, so it says that right there. So there's great information in here, and it just helps you learn how to make your child a lifelong love, for reading. So that does come with the kit. In this kit, you also get a Bible set for their Bible history side of it or whatever. So they are learning to read, but they are learning to read in a Bible. My son is a struggling reader. We did not get through the Bible curriculum of this because he, to be completely honest, he ends in tears with reading. He's going to be getting some learning testing done with his reading this summer. So we didn't get to finish, but their reading is phenomenal. Like their Bible reading. If you want a good program for Bible, like I say, definitely My Father's World has a phenomenal Bible program for children. It is so fun. Like the words in here start out pretty spaced out, okay? And then by the end of the Bible reader, they're much smaller and much longer. And by the end of the school year, they're expected to be able to read words that are bigger and spaced out more to much tinier and filling the page, okay? And this Bible covers Genesis to Revelation. So it is a great Bible reader to even have in your house. The pages in here are black and white, so your children can go through and they can color them. It has a table of contents. If they want to, they can color them. My son's not a big colorer, but every now and then he would color one or two. But see, they can color those. They're black and white. And it would have pictures throughout here about the story that they're reading. And the pages, they're not long. Like, for instance, this story right here starts about Jacob leaves home. And it is 1, 2, 3 pages. So it starts here. Okay. And then you got those two. I mean, they're very, very short. And if your kid struggles like Carson, like even if you read it for them, like they're grasping that Bible material, or if you have them read just a few lines, like this is great material. And then what they do is they take what they've read and then they go to their Bible notebook. And you have this beautiful notebook that you get to keep of your children. Okay, and it starts out with one line where God made the world, and then they illustrate what they just read up top, and it tells them like how they're illustrating it, and then it takes them into handwriting practice, and they're still illustrating it, and by the end of the year they have like this beautiful journal that they're creating of what they've learned in their Bible, and it's just so fun and beautiful to do with your kids. And it's just, we had a blast doing that. And then they also get, with this Bible curriculum, a timeline, okay, y'all? And again, we didn't finish our school year because I didn't even bring my timeline out, so I don't know where I have my timeline right now. But you can make your timeline in a notebook, you can put your timeline on a wall, and you get these timeline pieces. Okay, here's some just extra ones that we had. But you get these timeline pieces, and they're like little pieces like this. Okay, and your kids cut them out, and color them, and then your curriculum tells you how to piece them and put them on a timeline. And so as they're learning Genesis to Revelation, they're making a timeline of the whole Bible. Okay? Now, again, we didn't finish our timeline either. And I'm going to be honest and say that because Carson, again, was just not, he wasn't enjoying it because of the struggle that he was having with reading. And I just didn't feel like forcing the Bible on him at that time was the way to get him to enjoy reading. So I am saving it for him to pick up and finish his timeline when he's ready to do that. But at that time, it wasn't okay for him to do. But we did finish the rest of his school stuff that year. So the Bible history part just was not where he was. So you get these really fun hands-on. Oh, here's his timeline. Wait, no. You get a scroll because you talk about scrolls because they talk about how the Bible was created long time ago. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I should learn to silence that. And so the kids make an alphabet scroll. So he made like this huge scroll and it goes all the way down and it's the alphabet on a scroll. Because you're teaching them, even though they're learning phonics, they're also doing Bible. So you're intertwining the Bible throughout every aspect of their learning. They made these little books. Like it's very hands-on learning. This was like a little book thing that he made for phonics. Here's another scroll that he made for Genesis. Okay. Like it's very hands-on. We made some bread in the curriculum. We made, these are some ships he made. Corn. More people. When he was learning some words. These all unfold. Hand. Got some spelling words. He had to make 2 books this year. And they give you all the stuff to do that. And in the books, like you had to write full sentences, and he had to draw pictures to go with his sentences, and they had to do like plural words and periods, and it's just beautiful, and you get to keep all this stuff. So we had so much fun with all the hands-on activities. It is a lot more work on the teachers, but the kids enjoy the hands-on. So if you have multiple kids, this can be a little bit harder because of that sense. But yeah, there's so much more work. So I have all his. Oh, I just tore that. A lot of his school stuff in here. Oops. There's some more school stuff in here. Like his long U sounds that we had to cut out are in here. We got long O sounds. Long I. A. So you go through, you do all that. Flip through all this. We've got all of that also. You talk about the Jewish calendar. And there's so much that you go through. So when their handwriting practice is Bible verses. So they're going to get like memory verses, and then they have to practice like saying that verse through the week, and then they have to like practice writing that whole verse out. So that's how they get their handwriting practice in, is by writing Bible scripture. This is all stuff that I had to take out of his books because it was like cutting and stuff. But here's another handwriting practice with some of Mommy's marks on there. So yeah, and then we had to memorize like Old Testament, New Testament in order. The reading chart they give you. They give you lots of cool stuff like that. I'm gonna put this aside now. I think we've seen enough of that. So you get some of those cool things with it. You get a number of the day kit. So they have you go through this thing where you have to put like beans and things in a cup, and you're counting every single day with your child to 100. And then you celebrate the 100th day of school. And you can celebrate it with cake or however you want to celebrate it with your child. But they have you like build their anticipation by counting and using like place value to do so. So you're going to use these cups, and then when they get to 9, then you're going to take your beans, and then you put them into like 1 to make it switch over to your tens value. And then so on until you get all the way to 100. So they're learning their base, 10, and place values by doing that. And so they give you this little number of the day chart, and then they give you this, and it's like different like little games and things to play to do that. And then this is what you get, and it's little loose pieces of paper for all your student sheets, and we had some like extras left over for handwriting. Okay. And I kept all of mine in a baggie to make it easier to pull out every day. And then in here, I kept my extra student sheets. So like, for instance, this is what a student sheet would look like. So you get like this, and then they'll tell you how to fold it up and what to have your student write on there and where to cut. So they're getting cutting practice, folding practice, handwriting practice. Let me see if I can find an extra sheet. This was like when we did the boat ship. And it'll tell you how to have them fold it, what they're cutting, where they're cutting. So they have to learn to follow directions, where to write. So some of these I have extra of because I had some stuff given to me. So in your curriculum, you're going to get some counters that come with it. And they are going to be learning some patterns, and they're going to have to choose what colors to put on there. And they have to color them to match the pattern blocks that they use. And these are the blocks that they use for that, okay? And those blocks come with your curriculum. They get sheets like these in their packet. It's just they're very hands-on sheets, cut and paste, cut and paste. So they like them to get that handwriting in, but they also like them to do activities. So this one was like stuff where the children had to play grocery store. So these were like little tickets where they had to ring up. We had to label cans and bread and things out of our kitchen, and we had to actually make a grocery store. So it has you do that. So it's very, very teacher invasive. So if you are looking for open and go, this is probably not for you. But if you're not, then it's a great curriculum, okay? These are extras that we had. And I was just saving these for my little girl. It's either stuff we didn't get to or stuff that was, I got some of these things from a friend. Okay. I was left over in her kit. So then you also get this book, which is part of your art side, Drawing with Children, okay? This is a very nice book. However, we did not use it. I am not an artsy person when it comes to drawing. So regardless if I have a book or not, I can't teach my son to draw. And it is a lot of information in here that I honestly felt was just kind of boring for a first grader. Okay? Some people that used it that I saw loved the stuff in there. I just felt like there was just too much for me. But look into it, check the reviews on it. and maybe it's something that you can do. But I personally just felt like making some crafts off Pinterest was enough art for us for first grade. So that's all I'm going to say on that. This is the math book that comes with first grade. You can check the reviews on this online too. It was good. I just didn't feel like it was the pace that we needed for first grade. My son is a little bit more advanced with math. I felt like this kind of went at a slower pace. And yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on that. I feel like there's other curriculums that I've reviewed yesterday and that I'm going to continue to review that go a little bit faster pace. But My Father's World is not known for their math and phonics. They offer it up till first grade, and then that's something you have to add in anyways later. So if you are going to choose My Father's World, I would suggest implementing your own math and phonics from the beginning anyways. That's just my opinion. So this is the math book. We did it all the way to the end. It worked. He wasn't behind, but again, he got kind of bored. So it's not going to hurt your child, but if you're planning on putting them back in public school, probably wouldn't go with this one. Okay. These are the science books that come with the curriculum, and they're super, super fun. They are from Usborne. Okay, so they were you can purchase them through My Father's World, but you could also get them from Usborne. And that math book also, they have that on Amazon. So this one is Science with Plants. So everything in here is about plants, very colorful, and my son loved it. So even if you don't get around to doing the projects, like it's really, really informative to read to them. But we did some of the projects. Like we had fun with them. But they're simple little household things. So there's one about plants. There is a Science with Water book. There's little science projects for them to do with water. Okay. Nice and colorful. It's a cool book. And then you have a Things Outdoor, which is like about the weather and just stuff that happens outside. Solar system. And to be honest, I still pick through these often for my little girl and for my son to come up with stuff to do for them. Okay? As part of their math, they come with a book that I have torn, and this is the front and this is the back, and I tore the book apart and I put it in this notebook in sleeves to make it dry erase so that we could use the pages multiple times. But these are my sleeves, and you can answer these questions. It covers counting, sequencing, sorting, estimating, graphing, and symmetry. It's a really, really cool book. I highly recommend it, even if you don't get the curriculum. We use it often in our house just to keep one child busy while I'm schooling with the other child. But there's like tons of like little questionnaire sheets, and even if you don't do these, it's really fun to have the kids like just fill out the animals on the back. And it comes with this book, and then you get this box of like little shapes. And I went over this with the toys that we had in one of my previous videos. So you get that with it. You get this little clock that comes with it. So when they're learning to tell time in math, you can use this clock. And we used this year as well in our second grade curriculum. We used this. And then you get some counters, which I already had these counters, so I didn't buy theirs. But you get some counter blocks, very similar to these that connect, and use them for patterns and adding and subtracting, different things like that. We use these a lot. So you're going to want to have those to get My Father's World. Their curriculum, their art program comes with the drawing book that I showed you earlier, which was this one. But it also comes with Enjoying Art Together, okay, which is this book. And in this book, it talks about all these different portraits. Okay, there's a little portrait and then it gives a description about it all throughout the book. And they're famous portraits because this program also taught, like, it's very classical. So it goes into classic works of art. And then there is a copy of each art, which I have laminated to save. Okay, and on the back of the art, there's more information on it. And they're all famous, like, artwork. All right. All of that in here. So then there's also a Peter and the Wolf CD in here because you will go over like different instruments with your children, like classical instruments, and this will give, it goes hand in hand. It's like their music program with the kids. So you get a Peter and the Wolf disc, and you get some instruments, and they go over like the orchestra with the children. Okay. We did touch on that slightly, but some of it we did not. Alright, so that is pretty much it with the first grade My Father's World. And like I said, it's a great program. It is very, 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 very biblical based. Actually, I do have one more thing I want to show you that it comes with that I completely forgot about. Sorry, I had to pause it and answer an important phone call. So I picked back up and forgot that I haven't gone over this. So it does come with these little flashcards too. The flashcards come with these little direction things that give you advice. For instance, this one says flashcards are an effective way to practice math facts. The horizontal format of these cards provides practice consistent with the Singapore math program recommended by My Father's World to help differentiate 6 and 9. The bottom of the cards has thicker border than the other sides, and here are some ways to use your flashcards. And then it says practice daily for about 5 minutes, and then group the cards before drilling, and then it gives you some examples. And then there's other facts on these as well. But yes, so it comes with this huge deck of flashcards that you can use, and I still use these because it's so important to get your kids to get these math facts in. And they have like the little facts on this side, and then it has a little answer on the back. So like 3 plus 6, and it's 3 plus 6. Right there's the answer. So they're really, really cool. They're nice flashcards. They last forever. They're good, thick quality. So this is My Father's World. I love, love, love the curriculum. I have nothing negative to say about the specific curriculum itself. It just, for my family, it doesn't work well because I feel like my son struggles in certain subjects and keeping up. And I struggle as his mom / teacher in trying to follow the curriculum. Like if he's faster in one area, trying to follow through in that area, and then moving along there, and then setting down where we're at. I struggle with that. Like I can't, it's the same thing when we did the kit with Rebecca. Like I feel like I can't move along in those areas. However, I haven't tried it moving forward, second grade and on. Their curriculum, you have to buy your own phonics and math program, and those are the two areas that we get lost in because he's so good in math and so behind in phonics. Maybe it would work better for us because I would have to buy those separate anyways. So maybe this would work for us. But then again, I just don't see myself spending that much money for a kit and then buying an expensive phonics program and then a math program. That would be what I spend in two of my children's curriculums, piecing them together. So it can be kind of pricey doing it this way and then still having to branch out for math and reading. So for me, it's not what I would do, but I still would possibly come in and buy parts of it versus the whole kit because I do like it. And now that I've looked through it again, I might go back and check out their history for next year because I'm still looking for a history program. So maybe that's what we'll do for history next year. So maybe you'll see me talk about that for history. I don't know. I want to check out what they have for history for third grade because now I'm interested to see. But it's definitely a great program if you're starting out. I do think it is definitely not as advanced as a Becca. I think a Becca kindergarten was way more advanced than my father's world first grade. So that's something to take into consideration as well. But if you are not as interested in the advanced skill level as you are into the Bible portion of your schooling, then that's also something to consider because this is so surrounded by Bible and Scripture that I think you'll like this curriculum with that part. So that's something to consider as well. So it's a great, amazing curriculum. Definitely check it out. Compare the two sites that we have looked at between Abeka, My Father's World. If you're interested in kits and you have younger kids, I think if you've got somebody who is hands-on, definitely check it out. If you have multiple children around the same age group, this is definitely a kit for you because it's geared to help. Sorry, I keep looking at all this stuff. It is geared to be playful and help you grasp the attention of multiple kids. So you can definitely do that with this. So if you have first grader and a kindergartner, like you could totally do this curriculum and get away with it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I'm sorry that I paused a few times. I had some important calls that I was hoping I was going to miss while filming this, but I had to take them. So I hope these are helping. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about Grammar Galaxy, and it is so fun. So tune in. I hope you can subscribe below. Hop over to our Facebook page, Homeschooling with the Fowlers. I've been posting some motivational stuff on there, some homeschooling ideas. We have a few people that currently are fearful of what's going on with this pandemic stuff and schooling next year that I've been reaching out, asking questions, and I've really enjoyed helping you guys. So ask away, and maybe, I can get on here and talk about some of that stuff eventually. But tomorrow it's going to be Grammar Galaxy. It's definitely not going to take long because it is 2 books. That's it, and a highlighter. So hop on tomorrow and see what we have to say. Talk to y'all later. Bye.